Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video, and as you can probably tell, I've changed up the camera again, so I've been testing it out in my past few videos, and the clear sort of feeling was people preferred the video that I'm watching to be the big screen and then my camera to be the smaller sort of screen in the corner. Only issue is, and people were saying under the comments, just go back to how it was before, just you don't have to use a green screen. I know some people will probably be a bit like frustrated because they probably prefer the green screen like videos. But for now, I'm going to test this out. I know it may block a few things out in the video, and I am aware of that. But like personally, I just prefer recording without a green screen until I get a bigger green screen at least. But if it is really a big issue, I will try and use the green screen again. But for now, this was the people basically wanted this layout for video reactions. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. The video that we're getting into, so this is interesting. Mike Trout was my first ever, baseball like individual player reaction. And in the comments to that, firstly, the video was crazy. Like he was just like all round, like he did everything like perfectly. I say perfectly. He was just an all round player basically. I could have just said that to start with. And in the comments, people were saying, like a lot of the comments were about basically him being the best player in baseball currently. And some people, and again, this is all opinion, so I know not everything's 100% accurate or like 100% correct. But the general sort of consensus or the general opinion in the comments was, he was the best player, like he's the best player now, and some people were saying he's possibly the best of all time. And the fact, I think he's 28 years old, the fact that people are even saying that for a player who's, God knows, got 5 to 10, maybe even longer, 5 to 10 years in his career left, it goes to show, man. And the title was very interesting to this video, so it's how were 24 players drafted ahead of Mike Trout, Baseball Bits. I love this channel, but the fact that a player who's now considered the best player in baseball by a lot of people was drafted, so that means he was drafted 25th. That is mind-blowing, but I see that a lot. I've seen it in basketball from like videos, like the person who's picked number one isn't always guaranteed to be the best player, or the person who's picked 30th or 40th or 20th, whatever it is, isn't always guaranteed to not be, or it isn't like he could be a dark horse in a sense. So the fact that 24 teams like pretty much snubbed him is pretty interesting. But let's get into this, man. This is my first baseball reaction in a few days. But I'm excited to get back on the grind. This is I've posted for 2 days in a row again, which is obviously how I want to get back to. But let's get into this, man. Let's see what this video is about again. I know this channel is very he goes in depth with certain things. But let's check this out and see what it's got for us.
Season is underway. Keep up with me at twitch.tv/foolishbaseball. Giraffe Nick Mark. You already did this joke in the Game 7 video. You're really out of ideas, huh?
The center fielder for the Tri-State Arsenal here in Jupiter is a young man by the name of Michael Trout. Big key with Michael is going to be his bat. He has shown flashes of having excellent bat speed and hitting ability in the past, but if he gets that bat up to where the speed and defensive ability is, he could be a top 3 round pick in the 2009 draft.
Oh boy, he could be in the top 3 rounds? Wow.
Okay, so he was always seen as a solid player. So the fact that he wasn't picked top 3.
June 9th, 2009. Representatives from each MLB team met in Secaucus, New Jersey for that year's draft. With the first pick, the Washington Nationals selected Stephen Strasburg. Hey, we've talked about him, his debut, his career. This was really to no one's surprise. Strasburg was the best draft prospect the game had seen in years. There's no chance I'm going to criticize this move. But after that, the teams you see here all picked the top remaining players on their boards en route to the 25th selection of the draft. And every single one of these teams made a big mistake.
And it drives me completely bonkers, man. It drives me completely bonkers.
While the draft is a
hindsight, to be fair, hindsight is a very good, it's a very easy thing to use when you see what's happened in the years after like the pick happened. But still, the fact that you look at it now and he's highly regarded as one of the best players, it's crazy that he could be picked 25th.
Huge flashy event for other sports, likely due to the immediate impact that top picks can have on their franchises. Major League Baseball's is, let's say, more intimate affair. The players drafted are still very much works in progress, who won't contribute at the big league level for some time. Unless, they're Mike Trout, in which case they're already a superstar and become the best player in the majors just a few years later. This, however, was a very special draft. It was the first one ever broadcast from the brand new MLB Network studios.
That's so
The
sick.
network itself had just launched earlier that year, and this was their chance to create a draft broadcast with the fervor you might see for the NFL or NBA. They sent out invites to all the top talent to make a pilgrimage to Secaucus, New Jersey. The problem?
We can only get one kid to show up. We only got one player. Only one high school kid showed up.
And as Commissioner Bud Selig started rattling off names, it became apparent that the lone guest was going to have to wait a while. The same thing happened to Aaron Rodgers in the 2005 NFL Draft when he was left all alone in the green room. Speaking of quarterbacks, maybe some of you have heard of the Brady Six, the 6 quarterbacks drafted before Tom Brady in 2000. I think it's time we talked about the Trout 24.
I remember seeing that about that video in the past. So this is kind of the same sort of
Right
situation.
now, you're looking at a chart of the top 25 picks from the 2009 draft, sorted by Baseball Reference wins above replacement. This is the quickest, simplest way one can ascertain a player's value over the course of their career. We can start with the players whose major league contributions have been deemed under replacement level. There's 4 of them, starting with Detroit's 9th overall pick Jacob Turner, and ending with Matt Perk, the only pick ahead of Trout that didn't sign. The Rangers used that compensation pick to draft a guy named Jake Skull, who, you guessed it, never made the majors. Speaking of never made the majors, I would argue these guys actually had a worse outcome than the below replacement level guys. I really want to highlight Donovan Tate, Bobby Borchering, and Giovanni Meyer. They were high school hitters just like Trout. Mike Trout, you know, the guy with the Baseball Reference page. Tate was even an outfielder. More on them later. Also, shoutouts to 4th overall pick Tony Sanchez for getting that .1 WAR. He's above replacement level.
Such a troll.
Next up is a collection of real Major League non-factors. That may be a bit harsh on Drew Storen, who turned into a solid relief pitcher, but WAR isn't really the right tool to assess relievers to begin with. Let's move on.
It goes to show how hard it is to make it, doesn't it?
It's making me sick.
It's put into like reality.
This is probably where you start to see some recognizable names. Dustin Ackley, who hasn't played in the majors since 2016, is viewed as a huge draft bust at number 2 overall, but he's actually looked solid sandwiched between Wheeler and Grichuk. Speaking of Grichuk, someone with a keen eye may have spotted the Angels on the list of teams that passed on Mike Trout, and that's technically true. The Angels had picks number 24.
That's where he plays now, isn't it? The Angels. I think that's who the team he was at that I saw in the video that I reacted to of him.
And 25 in that year's draft, and they elected to pick Grichuk ahead of Trout. This may have been for signing bonus negotiation, or they may have just liked him more. Who knows? There's also 3 pitchers on this thing in common. You get a Tommy John, you get a Tommy John, you get a Tommy John. The UCL is a fickle mistress. More names. In this case, Leak has had the benefit of accumulating WAR due to his clean bill of health. That's what you get when you throw about 89 miles per hour on a good day. Minor and Pollock have had their ups and downs with injuries, but it's safe to say that they are very good players when healthy. We sure traveled for a while there. It's Steven Strasburg with a very respectable 30.1 WAR as the surefire number 1 pick in this draft. Can't fault the Nats there. By the way, you get a Tommy John. After Strasburg, there's only one guy left to visit.
Okay. Oh, look at the difference. When is he gonna stop?
We're gonna travel for a while to get to Trout here. You want some snacks? Bottled water?
Wait, what?
You want to tell me about your day? Oh, good, we're here. Yep, 68.3 wins above replacement. Sure is lonely at the top.
Oh my days.
Can we get some Hall of Famers around
Is
here?
that double? Strasburg. I'm probably saying his name wrong. Is that double like what he was?
Yeah, that really puts it into perspective. I think what makes Trout so frustrating is that he was clearly a great player from the moment he started in the minors. He almost instantly became a top prospect. It's not like he made unexpected adjustments to his game either, like suddenly developing a power stroke. He hit 18 home runs in his senior year of high school, a New Jersey record. I know hindsight is 20/20, but come on, guys.
25th
Holding
overall?
records
Are you
since
serious?
high school.
It drives me bonkers.
Sorry, I need to calm down. So now it's time to answer the obvious question. Where did all these big shot scouting departments go wrong? To me, the answer is surprisingly clear. Back in Secaucus, the names we just learned about are flying off the board. Our mysterious protagonist waits on, and the presenters at MLB Network are getting anxious.
There's pick number 10, there's pick number 15, pick number 20, and looking over and going, oh man, please, somebody draft this kid.
Now back to our scheduled programming. What you're looking at now is a map of the country. Here are the states with high schools or colleges that each first-round draft pick was coming out of in 2009. You may notice some real hotbeds of baseball talent. California, Texas, Georgia, and Florida are real standouts.
Does California just seems to produce insane sports stars in every sport? Because I see it like for basketball, like from like the players produced. I done a video in the past on like the best players from each state. California was, I think it was the best state, or it was joint best of New York. Is California just a hotbed for all sports? I guess maybe not ice hockey because it's such a hot state, or hot state. So obviously ice hockey, maybe the culture's not there in a sense, but I just seem to see in every sport, in every sort of video that I see, like of where players are produced and like the best players and where the most players come from, California's always up there, and you see it. Like look how big, like how much bigger the circle. And I guess the circle, the circle is a sign of like how many players came out, or like the best players that came out, something along those lines. It's interesting. Is California just known for producing insane sports stars? But that's something that I do see a lot.
And this is pretty typical year to year. But you'll also notice that the other states tend to trend southward as well.
Yeah,
the vast majority of these players are coming from schools where the weather is expected to be warm and sunny by the time baseball season rolls around. In fact, the only first rounders who played north of Trout were Boston College's Tony Sanchez and Notre Dame's AJ Pollock. And it goes without saying that ACC college baseball is much more respected than New Jersey high school baseball, where Trout often faced low-level opposition. So let's travel up to Millville, New Jersey, home of Mike Trout's Millville High School. The average high in Millville in March of 2009, when Trout's senior season was underway, 52 degrees. The average low, just below freezing. It's really hard to scout players in the northeastern United States' climate. Games get canceled, postponed, or played out, but in sloppy conditions.
I bet, man.
It's nasty.
Playing in the cold must be tough.
There was also a historical bias working against Trout. The last great star hitter to come out of high school in New Jersey was Hall of Famer Joe Ducky Medwick. He retired in 1948, over 60 years before Trout was drafted. Theo Epstein is probably the best baseball executive of his generation. Back in 2009, he was GM of the Red Sox and ran one of the few front offices that didn't get a chance to pick Mike Trout. He still would have passed though, and when he explained why, the two main reasons were the weather and the showcases. See, high school games are one thing, but there are other ways for top prospects to get exposure. Perfect Game USA has a near monopoly on scouting top high school talent, and they put on talent showcases all over the country. Remember these three guys? Tate, Borchering, and Meyer. They were the three high school hitters drafted ahead of Mike Trout.
They were ahead as well. The fact that they were ahead and they flopped so hard, that is mental. And the thing is, like, I was thinking at the start of this video, the fact that he was drafted 25th, maybe he wasn't rated as highly, but from what he said, he was rated really highly and people expected him to be drafted higher. So it's just quite interesting. I said interesting so many times, but it is just intriguing. I'm going to use a different word. Intriguing to see, like, why. I'm guessing it's like to do with, like you said, to do with maybe money or like wages,
and
like
none of them made the majors. They were each more active than Trout on the perfect game scene, racking up double-digit events in comparison to Trout's 8. They also got started sooner, with each making their showcase debut a year or two before Trout, despite being in the same graduating class. Yet, fast forward just a few years later, and the three showcase sweethearts were floundering in the minors, while Trout was tracing Triple Crown winner Miguel Cabrera in a legendary
maybe just hard work,
race.
man, dedication.
Heck, we can even see it in their numbers from the low minors. Here's how Trout fared in A-ball, and here's the other three guys. Yeah, he was just that much better from the get-go.
Oh my, that is crazy.
Mike Trout is not a story about developing skills in the minors. The skills he's developed, like bringing up walks and bringing down strikeouts, have been mostly in the majors. This isn't some triumphant tale of hard work and overcoming the odds. This is a story of these front offices whipping on an all-time talent because of what exactly? Bad weather? Showcases?
It just drives me bonkers, man. It just drives me bonkers. 41 teams had a chance. You biffed it. You biffed it.
If there's a baseball god, let somebody take this kid in the first round. Please, somebody take him.
5 years after the 2009 MLB draft, Mike Trout had the worst year of his career. Of the 7 full seasons he has played, 2014 ranks as his worst batting average, worst on-base percentage, second worst slugging, and worst OPS. He also registered the highest strikeout rate and second lowest walk rate of his career. Things weren't great in the outfield either, as he put up a negative 5.9 UZR, which is also a career low.
Okay.
The only season he has with fewer wins above replacement is his injury-shortened 2017 campaign. And you know what? He won the 2014 MVP award with all 30 first place votes.
Wait, what? So that career ranking, that's his worst, like basically in all aspects, it was his worst points tally, or statistical tally. And he won the MVP award. You'd be like, what? Sorry for hitting that, you probably heard a loud bang. What? That is mind-boggling, man.
That's how good Mike Trout is.
What?
Let's see if that high school kid who's
That
still
is
sitting in
wild.
waiting in Secaucus will finally get picked.
This video is insane, man.
With the 25th selection in the first round of the 2009 first-year player draft, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim select Michael Trout.
Yep. As you probably guessed, the one guy who showed up to the 2009 MLB draft was Mike Trout. A whole crew of names that baseball fans won't recognize were picked before him.
That's trippy.
But in the
This
end,
black
he
screen
has
is
the
trippy.
last laugh. After the draft ends, the front office executives and scouts of each MLB team pat themselves on the back. They each went with their top available picks on their draft boards and are feeling very pleased with themselves. The 21 teams that had their chance at Trout and passed don't know the mistake they've made, but they soon will. They soon will.
This is a very, very interesting video, man. Shout out to Baseball Bits, because I've only done a few videos, but like Foolish Baseball, not Baseball Bits, Foolish Baseball. I'm guessing the series is called Baseball Bits, because from like the videos I've done from him in the past, they've all been just like his editing and like his research, etc. I do enjoy his videos, but this was just kind of like, it's a different sort of style, and this is like sort of how I've done my basketball videos for over the last few months, and I'm gonna start doing this sort of style of video with baseball videos, just looking at the deeper informational sort of type videos, because I get really interested by this kind of stuff, and again, it's not for everyone. I know certain people just want like reactions to gameplay or like stories about like beefs, etc. But these sort of deeper like looks at certain players, I just find them quite interesting. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, let's just look at the comments, because I do enjoy seeing these. My wife left me from Mike Trout's baseball reference page. Mike Trout, I feel like he's just sort of like, he's just seen as a boss, man. He's just seen as a G, like one of those guys who's just like people look at and just like, you're the boss, man. You know what to do. Like he just seems like one of those sort of like, because also like his build, he just seems massive. He just seems like a proper alpha male, man. I'm probably chatting waffle right now, but that's just how I see him. Coaches, this guy was a future Hall of Fame. How did we miss him? Scouts, well, you see, he was too cold. Imagine that being your excuse, man. Bro, what a cookie get. That was referencing the start of the video, yeah. I'm sure Trout's comforted by that extension, worth the GDP of a small country. So I think I saw a comment someone saying his contract's worth $430 million, something along those lines. That just goes to show, man. Forget being drafted 25th, man. The money that you're being paid is a clear sort of example, and it just shows your worth to the team and to the sport in general, man. Large attractive, I don't know why I find that so funny. Yeah, this is a fun video, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And once again, if you want to see more videos like this, if you have any sort of other videos from Foolish Baseball that are like this or kind of different that you want me to see, or any other channels. Sorry, I keep hitting this. I just hit it again. For God's sake, I'm sorry. Move backwards. If you have any videos out there, I would appreciate it, because again, I would say I'm kind of new to these informational type videos on baseball. So if you want any more of them, just link them in. Comment in the description. The comments. I'm struggling to talk, man. I am struggling to talk. It's been a few days. Give me a rest. I'm just struggling so much. Comment your suggestion in the comment section, and yeah, I'll read them in future and see what videos you'd like me to do. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, like, subscribe, and peace.